Tired? Yeah. Take a rest. November 16th.
November 16th.
Islam Makhachev has declared Jack Della Maddalena cooked, warning that their upcoming fight could mark the end of JDM's run. Confident in his dominance, Makhachev believes his skills will overwhelm the Australian, leaving fans waiting to see the outcome. Meanwhile, Nick Barnhill shared his thoughts on how the fight got announced and why it wasn't surprising after earlier leaked rumors. He explained that Khabib was blamed for revealing the matchup, but his word is trusted. Barnhill added that Dana White moved quickly, building a strong card.
I love that they made this fight, and of course they leaked it a little while ago. It was Khabib that was getting blamed for the leak, but we know Khabib is a man of his word. So we were sure that this fight was going to be made and announced pretty soon. Dana White went ahead and did it. And look, he stacked this card. And one thing I really do like about not just the co-main event, but the feature bout, Carlos Prates was in there not that long ago, and he's right back in the mix, which tells you exactly where they see his future and where his potential is. But what's really interesting is he's getting two really important things. He's getting a former champion in Leon Edwards, and he's also getting a 3-round feature bout, but against a former champion. So it's a great position, especially for a guy who thrives in 3-round atmosphere.
Barnhill then shifted his attention to the feature bout and main event. He noted Carlos Prates facing Leon Edwards in a 3-round fight against a former champion, which suits his style. Moving back to the headliner, he praised JDM's win over Belal Muhammad. Barnhill argued that many doubted it, but he believes JDM's striking style could finally test Islam Makhachev in a truly competitive fight.
But yeah, so that one's really interesting to me. And then, of course, when you get back into the main event, I was really impressed with Jack Della Maddalena when he stole that belt from Belal Muhammad. And of course, people were saying, well, it's just because Islam didn't move up yet. That's the only reason that Jack was able to get that belt. If Islam had moved up, he would have taken it by now, and Belal would have never been champ, all that stuff. But I really think that Jack Della Maddalena has the perfect style to combat Islam, and moreover, give us what we've wanted out of an Islam Makhachev fight for years now, which is a competitive fight.
On the other side, after vowing to take Jack Della Maddalena's belt, Islam Makhachev hinted that he plans to slow down once the job is done. The champion suggested that the fight will demand everything from him, but he already has a timeline in mind. His message was short, showing confidence that he'll handle business first and then take time to recover before moving forward.
Tired? Yeah. Take a rest. November 16th.
November 16th.
Adding on, Adam Catterall and Nick Pete explained why Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena makes sense as a champ versus champ fight. Islam didn't lose his belt, but is stepping up to a new challenge. Ranked high pound for pound, he faces JDM, also highly ranked for the welterweight strap at Madison Square Garden. Both fighters bring top skills, making this matchup exciting and logical for fans and the division.
Della Maddalena versus Makhachev in the main event, champ versus champ, because nobody took the belt from Islam. He gave it up.
Factually incorrect, but I will let you crack on and we'll push that narrative because
Champs.
we've got pound for pound number 2. Officially, I mean, I probably agree with this, with everything that Ilya is doing at the moment, but it is an ever moving list, isn't it? It's pound for pound number 2 versus pound for pound number 8 right now for the welterweight strap in the main event at Madison Square Garden. I think it's an absolutely fantastic fight, and there'll be people chirping up going, well, Jack Della Maddalena's only just won the title. Should this really be his first defense? What about all the other contenders? Well, who is and who are?
They addressed critics who questioned whether JDM should defend the belt immediately. Many top contenders aren't available due to injury or other reasons, leaving no clear next challenger. With no one else stepping up, Islam's decision to fight JDM is practical. It gives both champions a chance to prove themselves while creating one of the most anticipated matchups in the welterweight division right now.
The other contenders. We can obviously make a bit of noise for Shavkat Rakhmonov, but where is it?
Where is he?
Injured. Yeah, you know what I mean? If he's not available to fight and Jack Della Maddalena wants to fight, then you've got to go and find another contender. And with all due respect to the likes of the Sean Bradys of this world and everybody else, who is the person that has put the head above the parapet and said, I am the next guy? There isn't one there. So this kind of makes an awful lot of sense because I agree with Islam Makhachev stepping up for greatness. He's just defended, I think, for the 4th time at lightweight. And there'll be people poking holes in those defenses.
Finally, they highlighted Islam's dominance in lightweight. Despite facing featherweight opponents in some defenses, he defeated elite fighters like Alexander Volkanovski, proving his skill, including rising stars like Ilia Topuria moving up, but Islam has already taken super fight opportunities. His record shows consistency and willingness to face top-level opponents, making this fight against JDM both deserved and highly anticipated by fans worldwide.
Because he fought a featherweight in 2 of those. Listen, and come on. We're not talking about any featherweight, are we? We're talking about one of the best, if not the best featherweight of all time, and one of the best pound-for-pound fighters of all time in Alexander Volkanovski. Islam Makhachev took care of that. I think he's been absolutely fantastic at lightweight. Are the challenges there for him? Maybe, especially with Ilia Topuria coming up in weight. There was that challenge of the super fight that we all wanted to see. But from an Islam Makhachev point of view, he'd already done that. He'd already given the opportunity to the guy from 145 to come up and have a go at him, and he dealt with it, and now it's about him.
Furthermore, Robert Whittaker reacted to Islam Makhachev stepping up to fight Jack Della Maddalena. He noted how double champions had dominated the division and how the lightweight division can now move forward. Whittaker called the fight interesting and tricky. He admitted he favors JDM while staying objective and set the stage for analyzing why this matchup could be so compelling for both fighters.
Yeah, I didn't see them doing that, but I'm all for it, don't get me wrong, because I think double champs has really stall the division. You know what I mean? So I'm happy the lightweight division can move on again. In terms of this fight, you know,
it's interesting, isn't it, man? It's so compelling.
Yeah, very tricky. But you know what? I'm gonna go Jack. I reckon. Well, okay, okay. Obviously, I'm going Jack.
Everyone knows we always back the Aussie. Yeah,
but when I said at that time just then, that was objective. Okay, that was objective. Okay.
As you can be.
Because I think Jack has that X factor.
Whittaker explained why Jack is the X factor. He highlighted Jack's grit, determination, and ability to fight off takedowns. In a striking battle over 5 rounds, he believes Jack is the edge. Whittaker also pointed out that many underestimate Jack's grappling and jiu-jitsu, meaning Islam might not dominate on the ground as people expect.
I think he has the gut, the grit, the determination to fight the takedowns, to fight the ground, the takedown attacks that Islam is going to go for. And I think in a striking fight, straight up, Jack is better. I think he wins in the hands. Yeah. I think Jack's got the better game to strike over 5 rounds than Islam does as well, especially if Islam is trying to go for takedowns during the fight. Yeah. I think, and this is people sleep on Jack's grappling game. They sleep on his jiu-jitsu. I don't think Islam is going to be as gun-ho with the takedowns as everybody believes, because Jack has that level of offense off his back.
Whittaker focused on the weight difference and how it could impact Islam. Moving up 15 pounds, Islam may struggle with takedowns he usually secures at lightweight. Jack's size and skill could make this fight more challenging. Whittaker referenced that their first pairing in the Vogue fight as an example. Overall, he suggested that Jack's combination of striking and grappling makes this one of Islam's toughest potential matchups.
Everybody believes, because Jack has that level of offense off his back. There's just a... Yeah, sorry, go.
No, the biggest thing that I keep going back to is that, this isn't even a featherweight going up to a lightweight where it's a 10-pound difference. This is 15 pounds. It's the increments start to increase from this point on. And Islam has always had to cut really badly to get the lightweight. I understand that. But Jack is a big dude. I think Islam, he's going to struggle a little bit in trying to secure a lot of the takedowns that otherwise in lightweight he more easily gets.
Moving on, Daniel Cormier shared his perspective on the Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena fight. He reflected on how perceptions of the matchup have changed over time. DC noted that after watching Jack's performance against Belal Muhammad, the fight now looks much more competitive than it would have a few years ago, highlighting Jack's skill and smart game planning. He said, "I believe that if you had put this fight together a few years ago, people would have been like, oh, Islam's going to kill Jack Della Maddalena. But now, after watching him fight Belal Muhammad, after watching how wonderfully he put together a game plan, it's a much more even fight than you would have thought prior." DC then analyzed the opening betting odds, noting that Islam is still favored but by a slightly larger margin than expected. He explained that Jack's size and recent performances could lead bettors to favor him more than usual, reinforcing why this fight is now considered highly competitive. He said, "Wow, he just said Islam's minus 265, Jack plus 225. Honestly, that's a little bigger than I would have expected." He further added, "I believe that people will probably come in on Jack Della Maddalena because at the end of the day, Islam is still the smaller guy going up to the next weight class to fight against a world champion who never looked better than he did in his last fight." Adding on, Islam Makhachev moving up in weight to fight Jack Della Maddalena has everyone talking. Luke Thomas explained why this fight is so important. He highlighted Islam's skill and consistency and noted how much JDM has improved. With smart coaching and preparation, this matchup looks very competitive and exciting for fans, showing high stakes for both fighters.
We have the answer. They're going to the media capital of certainly the United States, arguably the world. They're going to have him, Islam Makhachev, who does not have a rightful claim to pound for pound, but only because he's been kind of inactive. I think one of the interesting parts about this bout is you might have to reconsider his place in that BC if he ends up winning up a weight class against the title, a guy who makes very few mistakes, who is extraordinarily well-rounded, who is just, the excellent, to me, the standard bearer in many ways of excellence in MMA, up against a guy in JDM who not only, of course, is the champion, but so vastly improved in what he showed in that fight with Bilal Muhammad. And I know we'll talk more about this, but is going to have more time this go round with Craig Jones, who, of course, we already know has had a lot of experience getting, in particular, Australian fighters ready for Islam Makhachev. And so, BC, what would be the argument about this that you didn't like? If you're an American person and you wish there was an American, or whatever, if you're a Brazilian, you wish there was a Brazilian.
Building on that, Brian Campbell shared his thoughts on the upcoming Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena fight. He praised the matchmaking and explained why this event at Madison Square Garden is so important. Campbell highlighted Islam's pursuit of two-division champion status and noted the rivalry between the camps, setting the stage for the high-stakes competition and the tension fans are eager to see unfold.
Fight. Love it. Love everything about it.
We're always trying to be honest with you, even with my pending employment under the TKO banner coming up, of when we don't like things or when things are a step behind. To me, this is A+ matchmaking. It makes MSG matter, along with the co-main and the other fights we're going to start to mention here. It's a big deal. Islam Makhachev, arguably the best fighter in the world, going for that two-division champion status, just like his suddenly chief rival Ilya just recently did. I love this. And Luke, there's already been a bit of back and forth between the two camps, because as you mentioned, this isn't a surprise that they're fighting each other. The surprise is just when. But there's been enough of a back and forth where I think we can bring in our friends at Cuervo for a little bit of shots fired.
Moving on, Nick Barnhill shared his view on Islam Makhachev's career at lightweight and how expectations shape perceptions. He reflected on the challenges Islam faced following Khabib's legacy and unexpected fight changes, explaining why this next matchup is critical for his reputation and long-term legacy in the UFC.
A competitive fight.
Yeah.
Islam, it was really unfortunate for him because his entire legacy as 155 champion is a bit tarnished, and it's not from anything he did, but because of our expectations and how good he is and the footprint that Khabib laid and then he had to follow, it felt very quickly that once he got the belt, there was a big gap in skill between him and everybody else. And then with a couple things like fallouts happening, Arman Sarukian, pulling out like a day before the event, him having to fight Renato Moicano instead, all of those types of things made Islam's career at 155 feel...
Nick then discussed Islam's potential move to 170 pounds. He analyzed the risks and challenges of facing larger opponents, and why Jack Della Maddalena could provide a truly competitive matchup. The focus shifted to Islam's ability to handle size, strength, and skill at the next weight class.
Feel diminished and not as epic as it truly was. So this to me is exactly where Islam needed to go with his career if he wanted to get the respect and the legacy that he's been trying to build since he, had dreams of the UFC. 170 may be the right division for him, but it also may be too big. We aren't sure exactly. We've seen him deal with adversity at 155, but not all that often do people have the size, strength, and skill to give him a full fight of competitive back and forth. Jack Della Maddalena feels like he could be the guy that has the style. We've seen really good takedown defense out of Jack.
Nick concluded by highlighting Jack's versatility and the strategic challenge he presents. He noted how Jack mixes pressure, evasion, and traps, which combined with coaching insights from Volkanovski and Craig Jones, could test Islam in new ways and create one of his most competitive fights yet.
We've seen obviously great hands and great striking, but the unpredictability in how he controls the fight. At times it feels like he wants to pressure and take control, and at other times he'll be switching stances and evading and trying to get you to come inside, essentially setting up traps. I find that his style could be exactly the perfect style to combat Islam and give him the first competitive fight we've seen Islam in years, especially because he's been working with Volkanovski, who we know had the most competitive fight with Islam to date. And aside from that, Craig Jones is also working with those guys. So if there's anybody that does have sort of the antidote to what Islam brings to the cage, what Team Khabib has been known for.
Furthermore, Nick Pete analyzed the welterweight division and Islam Makhachev's move up. He explained how injuries and availability affect title shots, highlighting why daring fighters like Islam take bold steps. Pete emphasized that Islam's achievements at lightweight set the stage for a historic challenge in the next division.
Like the welterweight division, I am, despite what she says, I am still president of the Shavkat Rakhmonov fan club, as everybody knows. It's not Laura Sanko, it's me. I was there first. She might have the hat, but I was there first. And if Shavkat was fit and available and banging on the door, I would be screaming saying, this should be the guy. But all that meritocracy gets trumped when someone's daring to be great. And when someone's daring to be great,
or injured,
their dues.
Yeah, and he's injured. And
he is injured. So it takes him out of the equation completely. There's no other welterweight that jumps off the page other than Shavkat that should get the next title shot, especially when you got someone like Islam that's defined his era, that's kind of done everything he needs to do.
Building on that, Pete discussed the challenges of moving up in weight classes, noting how physical jumps can impact fighters. He compared Jack Della Maddalena's natural size and Islam's preparation, showing that size, strength, and strategy all play a key role in this matchup.
At lightweight, okay, it would have been nice to see him fight Islam to Ilia Topuria, but there's always the next guy. He beat a generation that ended a generation. He's done everything he needs to do. Now, as you say, he's daring to be great. He's trying to do something Khabib never done. And this is this is what makes it really interesting. You know, there's a reason why a lot of these double champions do it in the lighter weight divisions, because £10. When you get to welter going up to lightweight going up to welterweight up to middleweight, that £15 jump, that's over a stone. That's not necessarily weight cutting stuff. That's physicality. That's real size. Jack Della Maddalena is a natural middleweight that cooks down to 170. He gets rid of that extra stone, and it's not easy.
Pete addressed social media reactions to Islam's training footage, noting how appearances can be misleading. He clarified the effects of weight training and how Islam's physique may not change drastically, emphasizing that skill, not just size, will decide the outcome. He added that technique, fight IQ, and strategic adaptability will be far more important than raw muscle, showing that true champions win through smart execution rather than just physical appearance or intimidation.
Easy to get rid of that stone, to get down to his fighting weight. Islam Makhachev may well walk around, you know, at 175 naturally, but this isn't going to be a massive weight cut for him. Now, I seen some footage the other day, and everyone was going crazy on social media saying, "Oh my God, Islam looks huge. He looks huge." He was running up a mountain in Dagestan or wherever he was, obviously. But he had a weighted vest on. You know, I had a proper good look at it. He had a weighted vest on, and, you know, with all due respect, you could put a weighted vest on and look like 50 Cent. It puts massive size on every weight because it's full of lead plates or whatever it's full of. So I don't know how much bigger he's going to be and whether that would be the right thing to do anyway, suddenly turn up bulging with muscle. I don't think physically Islam will look too much different.
Well, he said, hasn't it? When he's talking.
As fight night approaches, the stakes could not be higher. Islam Makhachev moving up to face Jack Della Maddalena presents a true test of skill, strategy, and heart. Fans can expect an intense clash where every decision, strike, and takedown attempt could shift momentum. This is more than a title fight, it's a potential legacy-defining moment for both men, and the MMA world is watching closely. Who do you think will come out on top? Islam with his technical mastery and experience, or JDM with his size, striking, and unpredictability? Comment below with your prediction and why.